Hello and welcome to the back nine of round 2 of 4 for the 2024 PDGA Champions Cup presented by Bushnell. This is our second major of the year and it's only April. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the two tired geese. It's rough out there. You've seen it. Yeah. We're not going to lie.
If you didn't watch the front nine, go watch. You'll see, especially hole 5. But look at all the colors.
Yeah.
That explains enough.
Valerie, though, managing to get a couple birdies late in the game. She's 2 down in solo first. Silva Saarinen sliding down to second place. Rachel Turton 3 down going into solo third place, I believe. Not a lot of ladies under par. Holyn struggling, sliding down to 6th. Missy sliding all the way down to 11th.
But Silva with a really impressive bounce back after some early mistakes.
Yeah.
Let's see if she can continue it in the back nine, hole 10. It's 527 feet. This first shot to this landing zone is only about 300-ish feet, maybe 310. You don't want to push too far deep because it can be really difficult on this second shot. This fairway goes downhill to a very tight little green.
So tight.
So tight.
So sick.
It's sweet. The woods on the right and left side of the fairway, early and late, are very, very thick. So going off the fairway can mean pitching out.
Valerie Mandujano, one of the fastest players we've ever seen. The camera can't even keep up with her. If you didn't know, now you do. It looks like she makes it most of the way to the landing zone there.
Silva coming out early. She's going to, probably a good thing, check up before that very heavily wooded left side.
It's nice to see the sun. There is still some wind. It'll come more into play kind of in the back corner, hole 14 especially. Holyn going huge here. Wow.
And that is a perfectly placed shot as well on such a narrow fairway.
Missy taking the hyzer gap, catching a limb though. Not the worst kick. Decision time. Missy needs to figure out how far down this tunnel she wants to penetrate. Pretty far.
Yeah, that was very aggressive, but it worked out really well.
Silva needs to throw something on hyzer to wrap this corner. The challenge here is not pushing too deep.
That tree helps her not make that mistake. She is in the middle of the fairway with probably 200 feet left to the basket.
That looks good from Valerie. Not quite in position to get all the way there, but that's about as good as she could have done.
Yeah, she's in the front nine. She was so good at managing the course, and she's continuing that on hole 10.
Holyn able to see the basket, which is honestly a rarity on this hole, and that's a gorgeous shot.
Wow. Not many people getting to the circle for birdie here. Let's see, only 2 people managed to do it today. Only 6 managed to get to circle 2. So what we just watched Holyn do is unreal.
Now, the other one was Heidi Line on my card. She was about right here on her drive. It was insane. On the right side, though, but that far. It was crazy.
Missy with a really great recovery with a tap in for par. Valerie has a long look. I like that she's not sending that. She's not going to allow any putting errors to happen.
No, especially if she's maybe not feeling confident in the putt, dealing with an injury there. Silva hits the top of the basket on her par attempt. Holyn for birdie.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that looked good. Dang, that's brutal after playing the hole so well.
Yeah, there was only one birdie today, and it was from Heidi Line.
Yeah, I definitely was really excited and spoiled it. So,
but we didn't know there was only one.
It's true.
Who would have seen that coming? The second most difficult hole of the day, 60% of the field with a bogey or worse.
Oof.
It played as the hardest hole yesterday, second today.
Wow.
Rachel Turton keeping it clean with 3 down through 11 and I'd love that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Hole 11's a par 3, 260 feet. We did see Rachel birdie this earlier on the third card check-in. Some standing water on the left side. Common mistakes are pulling it too early right on the backhand or pushing the left side on the forehand. You see both here. You see putters, mid-ranges, you see fairways on the forehand. You see it all.
And normally,
Welcome.
normally you come to this hole with a very distinct game plan, but the way the wind was this weekend, you kind of had to change that and be a little bit more flexible in deciding what shot to throw. Valerie's shot worked great.
Do you remember? I feel like it was right to leftish here.
Yes, I believe that's right.
Which does shape up pretty nicely for the forehand. This one's a little tight to the right side from Holyn, but checks up on the tree. That was definitely going to skip past it. Missy with a meteor here, which is normally pretty flippy. You can see how it gets a little bit stable at the end of the flight, probably due to that wind, but she is inside the circle putting. Really pretty shot from Silva.
Yeah, excellent angle control. Just slides up nicely right outside the bullseye.
Putter, I believe. Envy.
This was the second easiest hole of the day. Missy still just not able to find center chains.
Let's see if Holyn can convert her first birdie of the round this time. Stay in there. And a good recovery after that unfortunate break on the last hole.
Almost half the field birdieing this hole.
Nice. Was it the easiest one yesterday?
Yeah.
And today?
Today, the second easiest.
Oh, interesting. Valerie in for an easy birdie. Silva a little high, but in for her own birdie. Is he gonna settle for par?
Some Beyonce type wind. Looking very epic out there, especially in slow motion. Hole 12, you got to get over this creek on your first shot. Ideally, you want to land right here in the middle. Being right in those trees are a little bit too far left. Makes the second shot a little bit more difficult, but most players just pitching up to this landing zone right here and trying to chip their way down the fairway or maybe play aggressive and get the birdie. Not a lot of people trying to get too far down into the gap, into the second fairway on their second shot, but you will see people playing aggressively as well.
The wind, not so bad off the tee. It looks like it's down from when I came through anyway, which is kind of a head-ish wind. They'll probably feel it more on the green, though. Valerie across nicely.
Yeah, it wasn't quite reaching down here. The hill blocked it pretty effectively, but the second you get up on top of the hill, it gets crazier.
Holyn in a great spot there.
Silva working the right side. She just needs it to finish out a little bit, and it sure does. That is perfect.
Some great tee shots here. Oh, Missy. Oh, low and right. I think she's on top. If it were to bounce back, oh yeah, so you can see at least she's not in the water. That creek is roaring with all the rain that we've had.
A nice little recovery shot to the middle. This always plays as one of the hardest holes of the day.
Yeah.
Tied for the second hardest today.
Missy essentially now having to play this for what feels like birdie. I mean, she landed kind of where you want your drive to land. That was a great third shot.
Yeah. Holyn attacking a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not a layup, but not quite committed to the attack. She's going to find herself in the dreaded right corner that we've all been to a million times.
Can you land anywhere else?
No.
See? No, actually, I think that's going to fade and be really good.
Great. Yeah, that's perfect.
Really good. But you can see Silva putting that kind of nose up and floaty, not trying to get aggressive. Holyn's definitely had, more force behind it.
Valerie a little bit tucked on the corner. She can't go super hard, but she's up in the middle on top of the hill, and that's all you can ask for. Look at this tight fairway.
Yeah, that's so hard to get I forget what I said yesterday, but 275-ish feet all the way down there.
It was a headwind as well, so you didn't really want to necessarily work any sort of flex. The wind really highlighting any angles.
And what you can't see is on the left side of that lattice work fence is an absolute cliffside. So you do need to be a little bit careful.
What a great recovery from Missy, getting some tree love as well.
Basically a birdie. Hopefully she tells herself that, because it's true. Oh, Silva's third early hits a tree. She knows that's a pretty rough unforced error. There you can hear some of the wind that these ladies are dealing with. It was so windy coming off the road on this putting green. Holyn lands about circle's edge for a par look.
Silva trying to wrap the disc onto the green. She gets there. That little tree jail can be so difficult to putt from.
Valerie just chipping her way down this hole, trying to get a stress-free par, and you'll take that any day. There we go.
Nice.
Sweet putt. Holyn looking a lot cleaner through these last 5 holes or so. If you didn't watch the front 9 for some reason, I don't know why you wouldn't, we did have a 5-hour lightning/storm delay. So it's about, what do you think at this point, 4:30?
Yep.
Maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Just a weird time to be out.
Yeah, nice blustery afternoon. The course is pretty soggy. During that delay, we got some very, very heavy rain.
Yeah, did you see all the mud kicking up on some of the ladies' pant legs? Mm-hmm. Oh man,
yeah,
it's rough out there.
Mine were speckled.
Caked. Speckled. Is
yeah,
a prettier word. Hole 13 is a par 4. It's only 502 feet, but treacherous like all the holes out here at Northwoods. If you can land right about here past that pretty little pine tree and line yourself up to go across the water on the second, you are sitting pretty. I would say you really kind of just need to throw a straight shot, but a lot of women working more of a flex or a flip up backhand. There's a little berm too, where if you hyzer out, it can prove to be difficult footing. But yeah, everyone just kind of aiming. You can see that one cute little tree. If you can get just to the left side of it, that's ideal.
You keep calling that tree cute, and that tree is actually my arch enemy.
Yeah, cute arch enemy. Look at it. Oh, it's a little pointy. Mm. So nice.
No.
Oh. Holyn gonna be dealing with that tree.
Yeah, coming up short or right underneath the tree, which is where I live, you can't quite go for your second shot for birdie without getting hyper aggressive. Silva on that right side also not going to be able to go for it. Just Holyn and Silva both facing just a pitch out and play for par.
I like to live on that right side for the last handful of years, and I've switched my mistake to left side berm, which I think is way preferable. You could even consider going across from over there. Mm-hmm. Holyn needs to be about 30 to 50 feet farther up to really attack, so she's just going to lay up and actually pitches a little deep, but gets away with it. Ooh, going for it?
Yep. I love the standstill shot.
Little fluffed.
Oh, but it's enough. Fluff, but enough. She knows it.
I would absolutely rock that pin or sticker or whatever. Any merch. Just put it on some merch. Take my money.
Missy with a really pretty shot, but coming in hot.
Yeah, that's one of the things I failed to talk about in the flyover. The second shots, if you're getting aggressive on the second playing for birdie, it's so difficult to land on this green and stay near the basket. It's perched on that little hillside, kind of hard pan too, so you get a lot of skips.
Today it was not hard pan, though. It was mud pan.
Yeah.
And if you land on the short side, you are slipping.
Mud pan.
Silva jumps up nicely, though.
You could see all the tread marks.
The slips.
The slippies. Holyn with a little standstill forehand into the slip spot. Valerie not able to do anything with that tree in her way, just lays up to about 15 feet, and it's probably super slippery right there.
I'm so surprised there was only 3 birdies today.
Why are you surprised? Look at it.
I don't know. There's usually more birdies on this hole.
It's hard out there, man.
It was hard out there. Missy just lays up. Respect.
You think whoever made that slip mark, like, fell all the way to the ground? Sure looks like it.
Yeah, that does look like a violent slip.
Yeah. Valerie in for par. Her round is looking really clean out here. And Holyn's cleaning it up nicely, too. This kind of stretch of 6 or 7 holes.
We kind of struggled to decide whether the front or back 9 played harder, but I firmly think that the front 9 plays harder except for hole 14.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, without hole 14.
I think the back 9 plays easier, but it sometimes will look comparable score-wise because
you get a triple or a quad. yeah.
On the next hole, hole 14.
Oof.
Here we are. The tee shot was a screaming headwind. It's about, I would say, 275, maybe 300 to this gap where it takes a hard dogleg left. There's out of bounds all the way down the right-hand side, and this fairway can take anywhere from 2 to 10 shots to get to the green. Pick your poison. There's a million gaps.
A million poisons.
There's a million poisons. There's 100 different ways you can find to get to this hole. And sometimes watching your card mates play and yourself play, you're like, oh, I'll never do it like that again.
I think that's every time you play it.
Yeah.
It's never going to look exactly the same. More than any other hole in disc golf.
Kristen with an aggressive tee shot. Love that. Wrapping the corner. She's a little pinched left, though.
She's got that flex forehand, though. Also, this hole is fun because there's usually a multi-card backup, so you just get to sit there and think about how hard this hole is. Or whatever else you want, but you're going to think about that at least once. Kristen did get caught up, but is most of the way down the fairway and definitely thinking about the birdie here. Oh, yeah.
Wow. That left side is not a viable gap, but it works.
I mean, neither's the right side.
True.
Even the viable gap is barely viable.
That's true. It's very small. What a great birdie from Kristen. That is a rare ruby. You always remember the day you birdie hole 14.
Valerie disking up in the wind to a Z force. You typically see more like mids or fairway drivers on the tee on this one.
I like the little bit higher speed disc for today, though. That wind was insane. Not even letting the most overstable lower speed discs get that left finish that you want. Silva pushing a little too far straight. Surprisingly, that line of trees right there can eat up a lot of strokes. We'll see how she deals with it.
Missy going Z Raptor, the same as Holyn, leaving it nice and wide and landing in a perfect spot.
This played as the most difficult hole of the day today. 75% of the field with a bogey or worse.
I would be surprised if a different hole overtook this at any point over the weekend.
Yeah.
As the most difficult.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that the direction of the wind today is just screaming right to left crosswind on a majority of this. It makes all angle control so much more difficult, and it's so necessary to get through the winding fairway on the second half.
It's a good looking shape for Missy, but definitely too low.
Smart play today is to just take some off and kind of chip away at this, but it's hard to do that because the green is so guarded that sometimes you can chip away a billion strokes just trying to get to the green.
Yeah, and still take a bogey or worse. Valerie, definitely a little aggressive there. Gonna find the left side rough. Hopefully she's not too deep. Silva throwing 3. And this is a classic second and third shot mistake to end up on that right side, a little overturned. I like the sidearm from where Holyn is here.
Thankfully lands in the middle. She'll have another go at it from a little closer.
She burned that really early. Good correction height-wise, but pushed a little too far to the left side. She's going to be caught up.
I see firmly on the string of gray.
I forgot about the string. Man, it's awful over there.
It sure is.
Valerie, not that far on her third shot and actually manages to get out pretty nicely. What's crazy is even from there, it's like
Difficult.
not as much as a gimme as it should be. Silva working. Oh, I thought she was going to go to the right side of the tree there.
I think she was trying to, but
There's not a lot of room there.
Valerie with somehow the widest gap in the land, being on this left side is good.
Still finds a tree.
Yeah.
Silva with a smaller gap in the land. Just pitches up to about 25, it looks like.
Holyn coming in hot, but checking up nicely on the other side. She'll have a tailwind putt, which is great on the screen.
Oh man, Missy unable to get out. Progresses maybe 5 feet, it looks like. This is her 5th now.
I like how Missy on these 2 shots wasn't really Missy. She was just like shrubbery.
Yeah, yep. Wow.
Really great par. 21% of the field taking a par.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh, don't.
I know.
Don't say it.
Yep.
Holyn left side chains low. Gonna be a double. Here's Silva for a bogey. Oh no, she's high. Oh boy, get us off. Yeah, I feel like your whole card when you're done with this hole is like, get me out of here.
Yeah,
like everyone's hurrying.
Sometimes it takes like 40 minutes to play this hole. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
They're 75% of the field took a bogey or worse, and half of that was a double bogey or worse.
Yeah, let's get out of here. People just start sprinting to the next hole.
Yeah, so
holding each other, crying.
This looks bad, but this is kind of normal for the conditions, and there's no leaves on the tree, so you can't tell just how brutal it was, but yeah.
Valerie's par definitely feels like a birdie, though.
Kristen was one of only 2 birdies on the day, along with Evelina Saarinen.
Let's check back in with Rachel, who's just having a phenomenal round here. That looks like a pretty slow speed disc. Ahead on the 15th, the hole we are headed to next. Just a little chip shot here. There's OB all along the left side. I really like the sidearm on the second shot.
Me too.
Lovely birdie.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Rachel says when she
does
compliments you. Yeah. Yeah, because she's from Great Britain.
Awesome.
So you get a birdie and she tells you how lovely it is. It feels fancy.
It does.
Valerie tied with Rachel at 3 down for the hot round of the day. Rachel in solo second right now. Silva sliding into third place. Here it is again, hole 15. Rachel threw the perfect dead straight shot. You sometimes see more flexing shots or even sidearms. You just want to get past this corner on the left here where it kind of bubbles out. If you're past that, you are happy. Most common mistake is probably ending up on the right side and having to navigate those trees. Second shot, you can fly this path the drone just took, which is dead straight. You see more backhands this way, or you can do what Rachel did and take a sidearm on the left side and swing it in. Let's check in with the chase card. The sidearm play is safer off the tee, but tends to have a more technical second approach shot. Or does it?
Yeah, Kristen breaking up the hole really well. And 2 birdies in a row on those 2 holes is great. Back on the lead car, Valerie.
Going flippy 9 speed, her ESP Heat.
That's so pretty.
So pretty. And very far. We talked about this in round 1, but this used to be such a difficult hole for FPO, and I think it played as the 3rd easiest, if I remember correctly, in round 1. Missy working the right side just a little bit more, which feels just slightly safer than what Valerie did, and she also lands in a good spot. Holyn in danger here, but checks up just before the OB, kind of in the biggest part of that bubble. She's going to be in a nice spot to attack from there.
Silva has a great shot shape for this hole, her natural line, but unfortunately it's going to hyzer her out just at the very end and be out of bounds.
Maybe just a bit undercommitted there.
She can still recover a par.
It is really nice to move from the hardest hole in the course to this one where the trees actually do block the wind largely. Hey, Missy up there, pretty dang parked for a birdie. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Not a good shot. And after such a perfect tee shot, ouch.
Nice recovery from Silva. She'll have a tap in for par.
Yeah, it's nice in that little corner. You have a really straight little alleyway. Here it is from Holyn. Not even 150 feet left.
It's so hard, though. Why are the wide open shots so hard at Northwood?
It's probably like, oh no, I don't have obstacles. I have to do this.
Yeah, all I've done today is throw technical flexing shots. Valerie up on the green, gonna have to settle for bogey at best.
I think Holyn's still just learning to dial in those short touch shots as well.
A lot of right side, but not quite enough.
Valerie, after the pitch up, trying to save bogey. At least she keeps it to a single bogey here, but dang.
The scoring
drive.
Yeah, scoring spread on this hole really great for the FPO. 25% birdies, 25% bogeys, and 50 with a par.
Nice. Missy with her first birdie in a hot minute.
It's been a while. Nice par recovery from Silva.
Just a few more, folks. Hang in there. We're doing it. Valerie still with a 3-stroke lead over Rachel Turton, even with the bogey there.
Moving on to hole 16. This is such a fun hole to throw, but it got so brutal after all the rain we had. That little vernal pond is wider than ever, and this creek that runs through the middle is a flowing river. If you throw your disc in there, you may not ever see it again. It's a very challenging tee shot. You have to throw something dead straight forever, and ideally miss that little wall of stumps that holds up the berm the green is on, because if you hit that, you can get some pretty wild reactions.
Missy, one of the few to go full distance driver, I think, on this hole. Most ladies going fairway or even mid, but Missy knows what's up. She throws those thrashers so well. She's on the green.
Forgot to mention in the whole preview, if you land short and left of the basket there, where the creek kind of goes in back into the woods, there's a casual relief area with a mandatory drop zone. Holyn won't have to worry about that, though. She is parked.
Oh, I'm glad we get to see this again. That was the perfect height. This is, I believe, her Z-Swirl Buzz. So good. Just barely over. I wish we could see just how close over the logs that was, or if it hit them. Wow. Yeah, that creek down there is babbling. Stark raving mad.
Yeah. Silva turning one over. That's not a bad place to be as long as she checked up into the woods and didn't bounce backwards into the creek.
Valerie with more of a flip-up play, heading towards that, what are we calling it? Casual hazard relief area?
Yeah.
Not sure if she landed in it. Yeah, not a hazard.
No. Just casual relief with the drop zone.
Ooh, nice shot from Silva. Little putter turnover.
And here is that drop zone.
No penalty, though.
Nope.
And they mostly did this, I think, for speed of play. I think it was a good choice.
They did make it very far away, though.
I think you don't really deserve a birdie for landing in the left side rough, though.
You're right.
It's a pretty easy par.
Yeah, a nice birdie from Missy.
Yeah, back to back. Picking up some strokes in the later part of the round here. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy is if she lands in that area, she has to go back to the drop zone is what I've heard. Although I think did they fix that? I know in round 1, that was what was happening. They're talking about it right now.
She's going to just play from her last putt with a stroke penalty.
Yeah, instead of going back to the drop zone. And that, I think, is an oversight.
It is. There's a kind of a handful of oversights out here with casual relief.
I mean, we're dealing with conditions we're not used to. These creeks are usually pretty dry. We're learning, but Valerie definitely taking an unnecessary stroke there. Holyn with a tap in birdie. And Valerie losing some strokes here with a bogey, now a double. So that last one was just a roll away and
just
a
unfortunate.
penalty stroke, yeah. Now only one stroke separates Rachel from Valerie. Hole 17, you can take this right side path. We saw Missy go backhand, but almost no one does that. Usually if you take the right side, you're going flex forehand. At 320 feet, it is reachable, but treacherous. There's OB. Left side, the entire way that wraps around. The right side comes into play in the later part of the hole. Backhand flip up to like flexing shot is a really popular way to get there for a putt. There's a mandatory drop zone if you land out of bounds. The creek is casual, but raging.
Kristen opting for the side arm play, having to putt across the raging river.
We saw Owen just putt from in there, just walk straight in, zero hesitation. Wow, what a putt. That was awesome. That hillside's kind of slippery, so that's really impressive. But I just love that when someone chooses to go straight in the casual water.
Mm-hmm. Missy, again, filleting the gap.
Makes it look so easy. That is so technical. Like, no one's doing that. Look at those trees are right in the way.
Mm-hmm. It's so small. Holyn taking the more common route, the flex shot through the left gap, turning it over a little too much.
That's pushing. Yeah, OB.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh, wait,
OB.
it's not mandatory. Sorry, it's optional. Drop zone. Yeah, the OB comes up pretty quick to the right side of that bridge.
I didn't realize that it was even on the right side of the bridge. I thought it was only across the bridge.
Nope, there it is. Silva pushing it too. She's in, but barely. That bush that she hit is like this weird little OB corner. Valerie taking the left side as well. Pretty similar lines to Holyn and Silva, and that's pushing OB.
Ooh.
Checks up
she's
just barely.
on the line.
Oh, is she?
I don't.
Oh, no, it's out. What a tricky little camera angle.
The suspense.
Yep, so the drop zone is optional. Valerie going to take it from where it went out. Dang, after such a clean and strong first, 15 holes? Or 14? Valerie just finding some trouble in these last few. Oh, man. I thought that was in. Holyn looking for that par save. Hits cage. Look at this thing.
Yeah, so technical right here. Not able to give it a full send, but she's probably just thankful she's in bounds.
Missy taking the gap nobody takes. She birdied this in round 1, taking the same gap, and maybe more of us should take it. That's a turkey.
Yep. Missy finally finding dead center chains. Took a little bit to get warmed up. She's back. There were only 6 birdies on hole 17. Only 10 people getting to circle 1 in regulation. Still like this hole for some reason.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. I like pretty much all of them out here.
Me too. No complaints.
Except for the wind, but it's nothing to do with the holes themselves.
It's not your fault, of course.
Yeah, you're great. Missy gonna slide up into a tie for 6th. Holyn dropping back into a tie for 9th. Rachel in the clubhouse with a 4 down. Wow.
So good. And the new hole 18 this year, it's a par 5. It's a little bit soft for this hole at 632 feet. If you can get really aggressive off the tee and land in this area, you can eagle this one. But most people going to just try to get through the gap safely, maybe pitch their second shot either down to the left or up on top of the hill, have a little approach to the green and tap in their very easy birdie. There's out of bounds on the right side that wraps around behind the basket. It can come into play if you come into the green a little bit too hot. This is Rachel Turton playing this hole 18.
I wonder what happens. The amount of people that thought that this was a par 4 and played it for a 3 is pretty funny. I actually only know of 2, but still, like, look at the caddy book.
It is definitely a tweener hole. If you were just playing it and not looking at it, I can see why people would think that. Yeah,
it's only 632.
Kind of a funny little finishing hole, but exciting because eagle is on the table for almost anybody.
Which is not something we get to deal with very often, and it's pretty fun. Rachel in for birdie. Oh, yeah. What a round.
Let's watch Kristen play this from the chase card. Super great forehand. Big distance.
Super. Kristen going forehand again. Gotta be thinking about that eagle, right? Just gotta be.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Forehand eagle, huh?
And what a way to finish, going 4 down on the last 4 holes.
Yeah. Missy gonna show us the backhand line here. Pretty good, a little pinched, but great distance. Silva gonna go much slower speed, neutron echo.
I really like that play. Really nice angle control again.
She really is just so good at that shot. Holyn gonna go forehand. I like this play. The gap feels like it shapes up a little bit better for the forehand, but Holyn is early.
Valerie looking to bounce back and maybe get a birdie here.
Wow, that is great. One of the reasons I think the forehand feels better is you see how close she got to that left side tree?
Mm-hmm. Holyn forced to just pitch out. She can still get a par from here.
She could still get a birdie.
I think she can get all the way there.
She's going to try.
Yeah, she is.
It's so far, but I mean, she's got the power.
Settling.
Yeah, she is
Respect.
settling.
That out of bounds on the right-hand side can come into play pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was probably, 450 feet? Mm-hmm. Missy throwing a really nice sidearm flex. Almost getting up there for a putt. No big deal. Big sidearm lady.
Displayed as the easiest hole of the day again.
I keep forgetting about this hole.
Yeah.
When I remember, like, hole 11's usually the easiest, but yeah, this one's such a birdieable hole.
I love this sidearm from Valerie. Up to circle 2. She's in Eagle Land. After that pitch out, Holyn gonna just have to settle for par at best.
Missy's third.
With 26 birdies and 3 eagles, everyone just, you feel weird leaving this hole with a par.
Yeah, you do. Or a bogey? Ugh. Whoa. Silva 4 eagle. About 50 feet uphill.
Nice tap in birdies is great for Valerie and Silva. Besides Kristen, we saw Hannah Bloomerus and Eliezra Middling getting the eagles.
Holyn gonna finish +6 on the day. Gonna drop down, I believe, to 10th place.
Missy.
4 in a row. Do we have a regional bird?
We have a regional wildflower,
Okay.
the beaked corn salad.
Yeah, we do. Kind of sounds like a bird.
Yeah.
Beaked?
Yeah, beaked.
Beaked.
That's why I picked it.
Corn salad.
Sounds like a bird. Also sounds like a food. Regardless, it's just fun to say.
Yeah, it is.
And congrats to Missy on really bouncing back on the back nine after a rough front with her own beaked corn salad.
Yeah, Missy gonna drop into a tie for 6, ending +3. Rachel Turton in a tie for first, 4 down on the round, 4 down overall. Kristen Tatar with that eagle moves to 1 down, also tied for first. Valerie Mandujano even, also tied for first. Evelina shooting even, gonna be in a tie for 4th with Silva, who played pretty well. She just had a couple of bigger numbers, but overall not bad out there, especially considering the conditions.
Yeah, being even par in round 2 is truly a feat. Almost everyone in the rest of the field over par, and it didn't feel great, but it didn't feel terrible. Most people were just happy to get off the course at around 6 p.m.
Yeah.
and go eat dinner.
And we're gonna tee off at our normal time tomorrow, so come join us.
Yep. Thanks again to the Founders Club. This is only halfway through the Champions Cup. See you guys tomorrow for round 3. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the two hot geese.
Honk.